Season 9. 1 hour chill stream live for the evening of Sunday, the 30th day of April of 2023. Do, 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 do.
Who's the guy who can conquer death? That's Joe Hills. He plays for Nashville when he plays Minecraft. That's Joe Hills. That's Joe Hills. The summer is past, but your days keep growing longer. There's no wind in your sails, but the storm's blowing stronger. Walking hard, standing tall, keeping your head up through it all. Fighting fires, spinning plates. Goodness, how did it get so late? Lay your head down and dream. Lay your head down and lay your head down and dream. Lay your head down and just let your mind flow downstream. Sprawled out in a moonbeam. Lay your head down and dream. Joe Hills is filmed before a live streaming audience.
That's us. Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee, and tonight y'all are my live streaming audience. It has been a whole day. I normally do not like to start the stream late. I usually either cancel the stream or the stream starts on time. I don't like this. We are well outside of my comfort zone. Well outside. So, I hope you're comfortable. Then at least somebody is. I have had a wild and a busy weekend. I'm going to do this 1 hour chill stream. 1 hour chill stream, no caffeine. I need to wind down. I need to go to bed. I don't know about y'all, but it's been a super busy weekend. I thought I would be able to go help a friend move after my 2 o'clock stream today. It was like, okay, well, it's not that much stuff, and then we'll, grab a dinner real quick, and, I'll get back home way before bedtime for children or stream time for Joe's. Everything took longer than expected. So, I'm here now. Whew, but I am wiped out. We did have a really fantastic Patreon build contest stream earlier today. I don't know if any of y'all saw that. Emo1024 says, isn't it a good thing to step out of your comfort zone? Well, it depends if you're supposed to go to work later. If you're like, hey, let me step out of my comfort zone and then not show up on time for work, that kind of makes it look like you're bad at caring about your job, which is one of the reasons I'm uncomfortable about the situation. But, like I said, normally I either cancel the stream entirely or start on time. I don't normally start 55 minutes late. But I don't know if there's going to be a stream tomorrow or not, and we had streams off Friday and Saturday night for the event I took my daughter to. So I feel like I can't just skip the Sunday night stream, too. on the plus side, I got to see my kid experiencing the joys of loading docks. When I was about her age, my dad had a warehouse he was renting or leasing as part of trying to launch a business in trucking. So I was great at jumping in and out of loading dock doors. And so it did warm my heart a little bit today to see my daughter being like, ooh, what's this? I'm like, that's a loading dock. Can I jump up onto that? If you want. I can jump up onto that. Can I jump down from that? If you want. I can jump down from that. It reminds me of when we first got her big girl bed instead of a crib. And she was like excited about climbing in and out of the bed. So that was fun. Right now we are fixing my elytra, my pickaxe, and my shovel. Elytra has fixed, as has the pick. Shovel remains. Shovel's done. I guess we can get going. Let's open that and be on our way. Evening, Sammy. I was glad to hear that your cat Bella made her way home. As I almost teleport my way far from home into that portal directly. Now we're going in this one instead. Back. Safe. Okay, let's take these extra ender pearls and dump these for pearlescent moon. How did I get 28 chorus fruit? Okay. Either way, Rosa Frida tips 20 and says, you're working now. Don't sweat it. Thank you very much, Rosa Frida. That's going to get us 15 past our first face camera expansion milestone. So here we go. Oh, wait, no. On the first one, I say, howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanding as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee. Yeah, I am wildly off tonight. We had, after this afternoon stream, we were doing a lot of manual labor, carrying and lifting stuff. That part's fine. But, like, instead of eating at 5, like we normally do, we ended up not having food until, like, 7:30 or 8. So, I am kind of, like... Oh, my brain. Oh, my brain does not work very well when I'm digesting. So thank you for your patience. We need to find simple, straightforward tasks to do. Because it's too early for me to go to bed. And also, since I washed my sheets today, I would have to go change the sheets. And I don't have the concentration to do that yet. Let's play some Minecraft. Now, we do have a bunch of trees here. We do need all this birch for supports for the inside of the pinball machine. For cross beams. Rosa Frida says, I'm working long with ya. Thank you. Thank you. Ender Ninja says, when I needed a mind-numbing task, I had to go dig holes. I will say, one of my big mind-numbing tasks has been working on Decked Out, but Tango sent us a warning. He's got some spoilers over there and does not want us anywhere near it for the time being. Welcome, Eclogs. We're having a chill Sunday evening. So, basically, this has been a very physically intense weekend for me. Yesterday, I went to a 16-round qualifying pinball tournament. I took my daughter, and this is a real endurance match. A standard pinball tournament would have, like, 8 rounds of qualifying and then quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. This had 16 rounds of qualifying. So we got there at noon to start warming up, and we ended up playing in the tournament until 7 something. We didn't make the quarterfinals. So then after that, though, the place that hosted the pinball tournament, Game Galaxy, has a ton of these incredible Japanese music games, like rhythm games. And my kid was like, Dad, I just want to play all the rhythm games. And I'm like, we drove all the way out here. It would be unfair of me to say, like, no, we're going right home. So, in theory, I could have made my show last night if I knew in advance that we wouldn't actually make it to the quarterfinals. But we ended up using that time so my kid could play some extra rhythm games. There's one called Musica she really likes, which is funny because that's the name of a famous statue in Nashville as well. But it's unrelated. It's a Japanese rhythm game. It's got like 5 pads and a foot stomper. And you tap on the 5 pads or spin them depending on the prompts on the screen. But, yeah, so no, we had a great time yesterday, but like that was a lot of standing and being very active. Playing pinball, once you get to a certain level, you're moving the machines around. Like, there's a big difference moving a 350-pound machine versus carrying a 350-pound machine. I'm not saying it's equivalent, but like pinball machines are heavy. So you spend hours standing around shaking one. Oh boy. And then the next day, okay, we got to help our friend move. The thing is, 4 of the 5 people who were doing the move, including the friend who was moving, were at the pinball tournament the day before. And our friend who was moving was like, why did I think it would be a good idea to do a 16-game pinball tournament the day before I moved? So we all had like just spent all of Saturday standing around shaking heavy machines. And then Sunday we spent moving her from her old apartment to her new one. But I am excited because it's like the new place. So she's moving back into town. She had been living out of town for a while. And the new place has like a pool and some cool stuff. So it's like, oh yeah, like it'll be really fun for us to go hang out there. But Lost Cult Music Tips 3, who says 150% you made the right call staying longer. Thank you very much, Lost Cult Music. That puts us $2 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. But yeah. Anyway, so the move took a little bit longer than expected because everybody had been exhausted from the day before. But it's fine. It's fine. Everything got done. My kid got to jump up and down from a loading dock. Yay. Hello, bumblebees. I will make more trees that might have more honey homes for you. It's true. Okay, so we got 30 more of these tree spawner things here. We're going to place those accordingly. Cool. Then we'll go chop down this clump. Honestly, we still need so much birch for the cross beams in the body of the pinball machine. This is not a bad use of our time. Cool Man Crazy says, what do you use to edit videos? Final Cut Pro. I spent $500 on it about 11 years ago. No, 13. Wait, no, hold on. 12 years ago, I spent $500 on it. It's the best $500 I've ever spent. It's really good for doing multi-camera editing, which lets me do a lot of cool stuff with my trading card game episodes and messing with replay mod views. I tried using Premiere for a few years because I had a Adobe subscription anyway. But for what I need to get done with multi-camera editing, Final Cut Pro 10 was just the best. But before that, I used iMovie, and it was fine. Have I played around with DaVinci? No, he died several hundred years ago. Unless like somebody made an AI of him, but I'm not really dealing with like AI of historical figures right now. I saw that in the film Her. Which in terms of single syllable film titles is okay, but I think Nope was better. If you have the chance to see Her or Nope, Nope is going to be the one to see. DaVinci Resolve. That sounds like a thing I should know. There was a color grading software called DaVinci something. Did they expand that for broader editing functionality? Is that what the Resolve is? Is that like the Matrix Resolved or the Matrix Reloaded? Is that the sequel to the original DaVinci color grading stuff? Because I didn't really need much color grading for my YouTube stuff. It's kind of good okay already. So the thing is, like, once you have one editing software that really works for you, there's not a lot of reason to switch. Like I said, I tried using Adobe Premiere for a few years when I tried to move my workflow to Windows temporarily. And just, it was a waste of a few years. I feel like those were the worst episodes I ever made. I felt like I was fighting the software the entire time. Like, I don't know what DaVinci Resolve would give me that Final Cut Pro doesn't. Does it, like, work on iPad now? Is that their whole thing? Like, you can edit this on your iPad instead of... Because that's the only thing that's really missing from Final Cut Pro is iPad support, I think, at this point. Karake says, I don't think Cub fan realizes he's making the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh reference at all, and it makes it funnier. I don't know if he does either. That's a great question. Superstone says, I have Premiere Elements. It doesn't seem better than free software. Isn't Premiere Elements the free version of Premiere anyway? Ryan on Sack says, the big thing is that it's free and so it's beginner friendly. So that's the thing is I've already spent $500 on Final Cut Pro. So I don't need to, like... Final Cut Pro doesn't have a monthly subscription. You buy it once, right? And I bought it once in 2011. So there's not really a big incentive for me to change to something else that's free. Because, like, effectively, Premiere for me is free. Like, in the way that, like, once you pay off your mortgage, you have a free house, if that makes any sense. If somebody's like, you can camp down by the river for free, it's like, or I paid this mortgage 10 years ago. Maybe I'd rather keep the thing I paid the mortgage for? I don't know. They're charging $100 for Adobe Premiere Elements? That seems like highway robbery. That's nonsense. I don't... Yeah. But yeah, so like the argument that like some software is good for beginners isn't an argument for me to use it because I'm not a beginner. I've been using video editing software for over a decade, right? So like I don't feel like I'm the target audience for that. DaVinci has not done anything to convince me that I should use it. But, like, see, this is the sort of argument I run into with parents sometimes about tablets. Like, parents will be like, oh, you should get your kid this Amazon tablet. It's only $59. And I'm like, well, right now, I just let my kid use my old iPad because I got it, 8 years ago from my employer at a Christmas as a Christmas present. And I got a new one for myself since. So I already have it. And they're like, but that iPad was hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, but it's hundreds of dollars I didn't spend because it was a gift from my employer, and it was a gift from my employer like 5 to 7 years ago. And I bought myself a new one already. Like, I'm not going to go buy my kid a brand new Amazon tablet just because it's $60 when I've got a several $100 one for free from 6 or 7 years ago. Like I don't care what a great value your Amazon tablet is. It's a worse value than already owning one. Lakshmi13 says, what kind of parent makes that argument? I've found it's usually parents who have 3 kids. And the problem is that they can't do hand-me-downs because they never have 3 of anything to give their 3 kids, right? So they're like, oh yeah, we bought all 3 of our kids these Amazon Fire tablets or whatever. And they're like, it's such a great deal. Why aren't you using those with your kid? And I'm like, because I'm using my iPad. They're like, Apple stuff's so expensive. And I'm like, but I already got it as a gift from my employer 7 years ago. It doesn't fit their use case because even if they got one from their employer 7 years ago, they wouldn't have 3 from their employer 7 years ago. So they're like, you got to buy these $60 Amazon tablets for your kids. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Benny, I'm glad you enjoyed the new video. Thank you. But, like, yeah. I mean, my kid has a stupidly nice computer from 2015. And yes, 2015 is 8 years old at this point, but it's still a 5K iMac from 2015 that I got off an old employer when they were going out of business for a few $100. It was like, this is the single best computer you could buy for $500. It's like, does your kid really need a 5K iMac? No, but that's the extra computer I have, and I'm not going to go buy a second $500 computer now when I'm not using that one. Like, so yeah, I mean, it's nice that this DaVinci thing is free or whatever, but that's not a use case for me to use it when I already bought, Final Cut Pro. Stephanie Hall, yeah, yeah, my kid has a library card, don't worry. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anybody that bought an OLED Switch. Like, my friends all love their Nintendo Switches. And as a result, they took really good care of them and don't need to buy a new one. It would be silly for any of us to go buy an OLED Switch. That's one of those things, like, the OLED Switch tells people, hey, if you're waiting to see if there would be a new Switch, don't worry, this one's going to hold you over. Buy this one. But, like, for people who already have one, you don't need it. And, like, I see the same thing, like, when people, there's always all these reviews, like, the iPhone 18 just came out. It's not a big improvement over the iPhone 16 or the iPhone 17. It's like, that's fine. Most normal people will jump every 3 to 4 years. The only thing I care about the iPhone 18 is it better than the iPhone 14 or 15? Like, there's no... Like, I'm sorry, but, like, who cares if it's better than last year's phone? The question is, how much better is it than, like, the previous, like, natural buying cycle of the phone? The ownership cycle of the phone, right? Yeah, I understand if you're a tech writer, then yeah, you want the new thing to write about, but I'm not a tech writer. I'm just gonna buy a phone every 3 to 4 years like a normal person and stop whining. Okay. Mr. Hardluck writes, but Joe, you must consume. I ate dinner earlier. That's enough consumption for me. Shalomum says, Joe would make a great satirical tech writer. Maybe. Writers meet deadlines, I think. Are these bees going to jump in the way? We're going to have so many bees over here by the time this is done. That's not, like, what I'm trying to farm. This is not intentionally a bumblebee farm here, but it's incidentally one. Yeah, there are more flowers. Free bee shop. I know, right? Free bee shop. La da 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 da. Free bee shop. Hey, GT Buckets. Glad you could join us. Is there a way to move bees between nests? Like, can you put bees in bottles or buckets or something? If you're trying to, like, move a bee from one nest to another, is there, like, a thing you use to move them? They aren't Zelda fairies. Leads. Because, like, does a bee bond to a particular nest, or how does that work? All you can do is break the other nests. That doesn't really sound helpful. You can still touch mine the nest they're in. Yeah, but that doesn't move them to another nest. I'm talking about, like, trying to relocate them. It's not like there's a queen bee or anything. Just as a quick reminder, we are $2 away from our next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Yeah, I'm talking about moving Minecraft bees, not real bees. Break the nest they're linked to. They'll find a new one as long as there's empty space nearby. So they do link to specific nests then. Yeah, this next episode wasn't supposed to be about migrating bees, but I didn't unintentionally apparently collect a bajillion bees over here. Tricked Moon says tiny face cam. Well, we're only $2 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Could be the B plot of the episode, yeah. Thanks, welcome, Mima Sweets. Glad to see you this evening. Once again, I don't know yet if there's going to be a show tomorrow night or not. Because there's some May Day stuff around Nashville, and I'm not sure if it's too late to get tickets. But I'd like to take my daughter to something if I can. If I can't, then, well, you know, hashtag shrug. Might as well go to work. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to fade. I should probably take a quick hydration break. I was like, I'm not going to have any caffeine because this is a chill stream. I'm winding down for the night. But now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I should have gotten a glass of water. I'm definitely feeling thirsty. GT Buckets tipping 2. Thank you, GT Buckets, for tipping 2. Expand Drew. Do. I'm larger now. And Lost Cult Music tips another 3 who says hashtag expand. Well, Lost Cult Music, that puts us 17 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Thank you very much. Okay, so even though this is a short stream, I think I need to take a quick hydration break so I can refill my drink. By which I mean I didn't bother getting one because I was like, I won't need any caffeine. I'm going to bed after this. And then I immediately realized there are beverages that don't have caffeine in them. And I didn't get any of them before this. Mistake. Actually, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't do the AFKing in here. Let's AFK like up in a tree or something so we can see. We want to have those trees coming in. Okay. tip link while you drink. Yeah, sure. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Let's see in our spreadsheet who we need to thank for this hydration break. It looks like Mr. Hardluck requested My Destinies in Tennessee. I saw Mr. Hardluck here earlier. Let's go ahead and play that now. That's a 4-minute, 45-second song. That'll give me a time to get a water. Be right back.
Folks say to be the very best, you gotta travel across the land. But I'm happy here at pretty good, just out walking with my friends. So you can fly from coast to coast for all the antics of ends. But my destiny's here in Tennessee, my Pokédex in hand. You run your laps chasing lickitung in Providence, and you arc your throws for Electabuzz in St. Louis. But when you're lost in Boston seeking Pokestops, boo-hoo, we'll all still be spinning them up on Rocket Top. It's true. Well, you can race to catch 'em all and fall flat on your face. We'll hatch our Togepi's here in Tennessee at our own predestined pace. We don't need Tanglers from Los Angeles. If you're there chasing Charizard, you're making your life way too hard. Clutching garlic, pounding pavement down Ventura Boulevard. We don't need Nidoqueens from down New Orleans. I hate to rain on solo you, but parades need a willing crew. All those squirtles on St. Charles saw you wandering and withdrew. Well, you can race to catch 'em all and fall flat on your face. We'll hatch our Togepi's here in Tennessee at our own predestined pace. We don't need Lapras from Minneapolis or Polar Bears from Mississippi's. There's enough Weedles on Montego. We could evolve a swarm of Beedrill. There's enough Snubbull down to Shovel. We could team Sled with Grumble. We don't need Oregon from out in Oregon or any Pikachus from up in Massachusetts. Sorry, Professor Oklahoma, we'll raid gyms in Tullahoma. Sorry, Pokecoin Palooka, we'll hatch on hikes in Chattanooga. Well, you can race to catch 'em all and fall flat on your face. We'll hatch our Togepi's here in Tennessee at our own predestined pace. Well, you can race to catch 'em all and fall flat on your face. We'll hatch our toga peas here in Tennessee
At our own predestined pace. Alrighty, we're gonna take down that hydration break sign. We got a few tips that rolled in. Rosa Frida tips 5 and says, next face cam. Very soon, Rosa Frida, only 12 away from that. But then, Noun Beast has 20 coming in. Boom. So that puts us now 12 away from the one after that, who says, I realize it's almost the end of the stream, but it's also time for more Grow Hills. Thank you, Noun Beast. We actually have another 20 minutes left, but here we go. Expand. Alrighty. I drank a pint of water at the sink during the hydration break and then refilled my glass. Because yeah, we had some salty food for dinner after the move, which is good. You know, when you're sweating a lot, moving heavy furniture, you want to have something salty to replace those electrolytes. But then you're also just like, why am I so thirsty? Impersonate says, why are your clothes clear? Oh, yeah. This is a great question. So Twitch has a policy that you're not supposed to have a transparent shirt on. And, you know, I like antagonizing people. So, you know, there we go. Transparent shirt on. Next problem. Nymph says the move. Yeah, I was helping one of my friends. One of my friends from college is moving back to Nashville, and like we've known each other for like 15 years, and I'm very excited that they're back in town, but needed to help get them settled in their new place by moving heavy furniture today. Woo! So I didn't move. I'm still... Hi, I'm still here. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me. Bum 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 bum. Okay. So we need to go get to a bed real quick to lay our heads down and dream before the mobs start spawning. Here we go. Yeah, hard physical labor. So Saturday was like 8 straight hours of pinball for an incredibly long 16-round tournament with practice time in there as well. And then Sunday, had kind of a chill morning, judged a very, very impressive Patreon build contest stream. The folks that showed up for the Kentucky Derby stream today, that was like next level. Y'all are really up in your game. I was not prepared to judge that. I was like, what? Wow. And then... Where's my brain? Yeah. So yesterday, we got to the pinball place. It was an out-of-town tournament. We got there at noon, and we played in the tournament until like 7:30. We didn't make it to the quarterfinals. And then after that, we still stuck around because my kid wanted to play the music games in the arcade. There were a cool bunch of Japanese rhythm games. So I played more pinball. We were there until like 9:30. And then today, chill morning, did the parade float judging and then helped a friend move. And just got back from helping the friend move. We grabbed some dinner afterwards, which ran a little long, but it was good. It was good to just sit and chill. I had some nice brisket. Yeah, the builds were incredible. Yeah, my daughter was trolling everybody during the move as the only, like, child there. Somebody would make a reference to, like, Garfield hating Mondays, and my daughter would be like, what's Garfield? He'd be like, you know, Garfield the cat, the orange cat that hates Mondays and eats lasagna. And my kid would just be like, I don't know what that is. If you want to talk to children, you need to learn about things we care about. Lizzie Mac says I have to move soon. Yeah, I know, it's the worst. Oh. Yeah. So the building my friend moved into is really nice. But unfortunately, they don't have 3-bedroom apartments. It's right next to one of the schools I was looking at for my kid, though. So, like, if my kid got into school here, and we got one of the 2-bedroom apartments, and then I just rented a studio space in a nearby commercial building, that might be an option. But yeah, pinball tournaments are awesome. Most normal pinball tournaments are going to be 8 rounds. This was a 16-round tournament. This was like it was marketed as like an endurance event. Scar's back. We need to greet Scar. Howdy, Scar. There were about 60 people there. I tied for 46th, and then my daughter got 49th. So it wasn't our best showing ever. But it was a new format for both of us. Both of us hadn't been to a 16-round qualifier like that before. So we kind of learned the ropes, and next time we go, I think we'll be better prepared. But, like, there was a point in round 14, ball 1 of round 14, I was playing... Oh, maybe it was round 13. I don't know. I think I was on Funhouse. Yeah, it was Funhouse. And I kind of know the rules to Funhouse because I played it some digitally. Yeah, my daughter plays in the tournaments too. Usually she beats me. But this was a new format, and it was a lot more challenging because it was 16 games. Most of the tournaments we go to are like 8-game tournaments. No, I don't still have total nuclear annihilation at my place to practice, which is definitely hurting me. My skills fall off faster than my daughter's if I don't practice. But, yeah, anyway, I think it was round 13. So, like I said, normally I would play in like an 8-round tournament, and now I'm in a 16-round tournament. I get to round 13, and, I plunge the ball on Funhouse, and I go to hit the left flipper when the ball comes around, and I hit the plywood on the side of the machine. And I'm like, where's the flipper? My hand had just, like, drifted a few inches down the side of the machine because I was that, like, wiped out. And I've never been that tired before that I just like completely missed the button on the side of the machine. And so after that though, every round after that I'm like constantly like checking to make sure that my hand is like lined up with the button. I'm never going to make that mistake again. But that was frustrating because the ball just rolls straight off the flipper into the drain, and I'm just watching it while I'm like tapping the side of the machine, like, where's the button? But like, whew, it's a different thing going to a 13 or going into like round 13 of a 16-round tournament versus playing in an 8-round tournament. You know, it's and that's how you learn. You know, you push yourself. And like when you try something new like that, you don't expect like, oh yeah, I'm gonna completely ace it the first time. You go in saying like, okay, I'm excited to see what I'm going to learn here because I have no idea what I'm going to learn here. What I'm going to learn is press the buttons on the side of the machine, not the plywood. I couldn't. I was just like, what? What? How does that happen? How does that even happen? But now I know. Now I've seen that happen. I've experienced that happening. And I can make sure it doesn't happen again. But, while I was watching it, though, I was just like... But, like, I don't want to seem like I'm, like, a bad sport or anything. I'm like, oh, my bad. User error. But internally screaming. Internally screaming. Nambi says, "Can you link us to your pinball rink?" I can, but it's not going to be up to date with the new tournament stuff. Let me place this real quick. Whew. Yeah, because so the thing is, the IFPA pinball rankings are updated like manually, and there's usually about a week delay. Let me go to search. Sort by name, Joe Hills. Yeah. So here's my pinball ranking. But yeah, this doesn't reflect the latest event. But yeah, I'm currently 3,448th in the world. And I have more than 20 events. So only your 20 best events count. So in order to move my ranking up, I need to score better than 0.56 whoppers on an event. It'll bump off my score from February 8th. It looks like that was my worst score that's still valid. But, Mad Signcraft says, as somebody who hasn't even seen a pinball machine IRL... How many stacks? I have more than Jev needs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, can do. Want it at your base? On my way. Let's turn off the camera real quick and try and do a recording of this Jev interaction. So our pal Jevin apparently needs about 10 stacks of wither roses. We have 9 in the hotbar right here, but, you know, I figure I can pull another one out of my inventory if need be. I'm not foolish enough to swap out my totem for one of those. Howdy, Jev.
I don't see you.
Oh, well,
there you are.
Yeah, here is 1 stack of wither roses. And then a second stack of wither roses.
Oh my god, you have so many.
And then a third, fourth. You said you wanted 10. 6,
yes.
7, 8, 9, and 10.
Thank you.
No problem. And if you're actually short, I still have like I don't know, 40 more. But I'm using them for I'm using them for dyeing the sides of my pinball machine to make like the blackness of space for the concrete powder.
Oh, perfect.
But
well,
yeah,
I appreciate it, man.
More than I need in the moment. Alrighty, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Stop recording. Okay, I don't think that was funny enough to use in an episode. I wasn't feeling very funny. That's fine. Mad Signcraft says, as somebody who hasn't used a pinball machine before, how do you score pinball tournaments? So, in a pinball tournament, you might have like 20 machines that are in the mix as like eligible arenas for the games, and then you would assign 4 people to each of them. So in a 60-person tournament, you would assign randomly 15 groups of 4 to 15 of the 20 machines. So 3/4 of them are getting used at any given time, right? And the scoring is done machine by machine. Pinball Mafia raiding with a party of 29. We were just explaining how pinball tournaments are scored. This might be elementary to y'all, but I just got back from the Game Galaxy 16-round qualifier. Thank you, Barbie's little sister, for making them raid us. If you've never seen a Joe Hill stream before, my big project in Minecraft right now is I am building a colossal scale pinball machine, which I am theming off of space telescopes. If we come around the side here, I have, I'm using a deep field photo that I'm skinning around the back and side, or around the sides here. Working on this part of the galaxy for the back box. The machine itself, I'm basing loosely off of the Total Nuclear Annihilation Cabinet by Spooky Pinball. If you have a TNA, you might recognize those vents, these warning labels, more vents. Bill from Memphis says, I was just thinking about the Whopper point value of the same tournament. Yeah, Bill Baggett was at the tournament. You did a lot better than me, Bill. I tied for 46th. My kid tied for 49th. It was about a 60-person tournament. Down at at Game Galaxy in Smyrna, Tennessee, and it was 16 rounds of qualifying, followed by quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals for the top 16. I don't know what the Whopper value is going to be at the end of the day, but I'm expecting a lot. But yeah, we are currently working on getting the cross beams in here at the base of the cabinet. Nambi says, surprised your kid did worse than you. Yeah, normally my kid does way better than me at these events. Hey, thank you to Jackie Ann for tipping 5, who writes, Joe, just watched Anne Frank's diary. I would listen to Badger reading that. Both are great. Awesome. Thank you very much, Jackie Ann. That puts us now $7 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Alrighty, Barbie's little sister, have a fantastic birthday tomorrow, and good luck with finals. Bill from Memphis says, I was noticing your daughter finished 10th in a tournament at no quarter. Yeah, my daughter is really usually better than me. But this was our first time doing a tournament format where you played 16 games of qualifiers. And I was talking about how we learned new things about our ability to play pinball. Bill, I don't know if you've ever plunged on Funhouse and then you go to hit the left flipper and you just hit the side of the machine. That happened to me, and I think it was either round 12, 13, or 14. But one of the later rounds, I was on Funhouse. I go to hit the left flipper, and I realize my hand has just drifted down the side of the machine. Like, I just didn't have the concentration to keep it in place. And I was just like, this is a completely new type of problem. Normally, that's not the problem I have in a pinball game, but I don't normally play in a 16-game qualifier. So, after that, the remaining rounds, I paid attention to where my hands were like I have never paid attention before. Hopefully, that is not a mistake I make again. But yeah, I definitely am... I feel like one of the best ways to approach tournaments like this is when you're doing a new format or go into a new place, you just go into it and say, I'm going to have fun and I'm going to learn something. And even if you only accomplish one of those 2 goals, you got something out of it, But yeah. It was a really great event there at Game Galaxy, and sorry we didn't have time to talk, but it was so hectic. Everything was just moving nonstop. Jason does a really good job of keeping the tournaments running efficiently. Sarah and Gio as tournament directors just kept everything going quick. I was really pleased. I don't know if you've worked with Sarah Yoder much. She runs the Nashville Women's League here for pinball, which both my daughter and my sister play in, and it's fantastic how on the ball she is. Bill says it was incredibly crowded. Yeah, we were trying to get outside to get some fresh air whenever we could. I appreciated that Jason provided some folding chairs. Indudeley says, Joe, how did you get into pinball? I had no idea it was a competitive thing. I mean, I played pinball when I was a little kid. Like, some of my earliest memories of, like, going on vacation with my family, we would go to arcades and there'd be pinball there. Or, like, we stayed at a bed and breakfast that had a game room and there was a pinball machine in it. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And I remember it had magnets in it. I was like, what? And I don't remember if it was an Addams Family or a black hole, but it was something like that. But just, like, my mind being like, whoa. So, like, it's one of those things, like, yeah, so, like, pinball has always been around. Like, that's like asking, like, Joe, when did you get into computers? Because some people didn't grow up around computers, but, like, my dad always liked computers, and they were just always there, you know what I mean? But I only found out about really, like, I knew competitive pinball existed at the high levels for years, but I didn't know that our local scene was as amazing as it was until I was talking to some people from Chicago who mentioned checking out some places in Nashville, and I was like, wait, what? That sounds cool. I need to get over there and start trying to play competitively. So, yeah. Nambi says, I can't figure out why it's gendered. Okay, so in general, so basically there is the open pinball tournaments, which are open to everybody. There's not a men's and a women's. It's basically there's an everyone league, but also some women have started running women's nights and women's tournaments as a way to kind of, like, have their own space. So I feel like, so that's one of those things, like, there's a difference between people who make up the majority of something trying to send somebody else into a segregated space versus folks trying to create a space themselves, if that makes any sense. You know, so yeah, that's what's up with that. But no, I've had the good fortune to talk to some of the women who organize women's tournaments up in Chicago and stuff like that, and it's an easier sell sometimes for them to get their friends to come try pinball at a ladies' night than in an open tournament. You know what I mean? It's the sort of thing that encourages people to try it who wouldn't have otherwise. But, like, when we go to the like open tournaments, there's a lot of women there. It's probably between a quarter and a half. It's not quite 50-50, but it's closer than you would expect. And part of that is the work that people have done to create women's tournaments to show people, like, hey, this can be for you, you know? So, on the whole, that's definitely something that I'm always skeptical about and want to be cautious about. Angarad Cat says, yeah, personally, I think I'd be more intimidated by an open night versus a women's night. Ironically, I will say, like, you might think, like, oh, okay, well, the women's night will be, like, friendlier and more chill. You know what? The women's night is definitely very friendly. Both nights are very friendly. But the women who show up for the women's nights, a lot of the times, like, they are there to play, right? And so like I watch like my daughter competing at the women's nights versus at the open nights, and like the 16 women who show up for the women's nights versus like the 48 to 52 people like of all genders who show up for like the normal weekly tournaments, there's fewer easy marks to knock out. So like it's actually, even though like the atmosphere is very friendly in terms of like how competitive the gameplay is, like it's serious business. It's serious business at those tournaments. So yeah, like the level of play is very high. But here's the thing though, is nobody wants to be babied. You want to go in and you want to get good at something. Like, it's important to have a space where you're told you are welcome, but like you don't want to go play in the you know, in the T-ball league, you know? Like, Queen Tally says, what do you get if you win? The best I've ever gotten was second place in a cash prize classics tournament. And I won, I think, like something like $27. Now, the entry fee for the tournament was $20. And so I got my entry fee back, and I think I spent a few dollars in gas to get there. And I bought a soda while I was there. So I was like, wow, this is the best tournament ever. I'm only down like $2 after gas, soda, and entry fees. But the bragging rights and your world ranking points are what people really go for. But I mean, I just like it because it's an excuse to hang out with people. Because you get randomly assigned a game, and you go stand by that game, and you wait for the other 3 players to show up. And you say, like, hi, I'm Joe, I'm player 3. And other people are like, hi, I'm Mike, I'm player 2. Hi, I'm Mel, I'm player 1. Hi, I'm Jane, I'm player 4. And so you basically spend the whole night introducing yourself to different people. And, like, so, like, for example, I don't know if any of y'all saw the craft stream that we had with Erin Winnick, who just got off a stint working as a NASA science communicator and is now out of her non-disclosure agreement so she can talk about it. But she came and talked on Clio on my craft stream Wednesday morning. But, like, I randomly met her at a no-quarter pinball tournament. Like, just a random Wednesday night pinball tournament. Because she was in town for a conference about 3D printing. And I was like, oh, cool, local pinball tournament. I'll go hang out, right? And so it's like, boom. So you get to meet cool people. Hey, we got a tip rolling in from Leslie from 7 who says, evening, grow hills, do. That puts us 20 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Here we go. Expand, Joe, do. Dean of Beans says, hi, I'd like to offer promotion for your channel. I mean, I don't know what kind of promotion you'd like to offer. I've been doing this I've been streaming since 2008. So, I don't know what kind of promotion I really need. Am I gonna make manager? Like, what is that gonna do? Is it a Dean of Vanilla Beans as opposed to Dean of Cocoa Beans? I'm not sure what's going on here. Read the rest of it, please. I started reading it by Stephen King, and it didn't feel like it was for me. There was too much weirdly, like, I don't know, like, these are supposed to be kids, and some of the subject matter just didn't seem age appropriate. And I mean, if you really enjoyed it, maybe somebody should read the rest of it, but I don't think that's me. That's a book for somebody else. Not everything has to be for you. Not everything has to be for you, and I've made peace with that, you know? Welcome, Introverted Kid 534. Glad you could join us. Oh, I forgot to mention, now that we're evenly at our next face camera expansion milestone, we should mention that tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. But yeah, where were we? We were talking about the tournament the other night. Yeah, it was a wild format. 16 games to qualify, followed by quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. They were wrapping up pretty late, but I had a blast. It's part of why I'm so tired, though, because that's a lot of games to play. And then, like I said, I helped a friend move today. Very excited about that. I'm always happy. So many of my friends moved away from Nashville, like, after college, and having them, like, now that Nashville's, like, a big city or whatever, like, did I not put that? I thought I put that stuff in the box. Dang it. Now that Nashville's a big city, people are moving back, and I'm so excited to see them. Stephanie Hall tips 40 and says to empty the abacus and expand Joe. Yeah, let's go ahead and put this away here. And then get that on the board. Boom. So that's 2 face camera expansion milestones. For the first one, we're going to go ahead and say, expand Joe. And then, for the second one, we're going to take these chains I forged in life. Y'all might have seen that money go straight to my head, but now, like Jacob Marley, these chains I forged in life are about to begin pulling me down to the deep below. Enter the Jost. Bum, 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 bum. Lowering the Joe Bastien now to 90%. Thank you, Stephanie Hall 17, for that. Okay, Kindleless points out that this is a 1-hour chill stream we are now 70 minutes into. I gotta say, I kind of got my second wind when I was excited that Pinball Mafia raided us. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and do last call for tips. It is 10:30. Oh boy, I do have school. I gotta get my kid to school tomorrow. Last call for tips. We're gonna wrap up in 8 minutes at 10:40. But yeah, thank y'all so much for hanging out. No, I know, Kindleless, you're right. I do need to look out for myself. I got to get my kid to school in the morning. Oh, I need to put my sheets on the bed. I did laundry today. And so, yeah, yep, that's one of those things. I'd rather do that now. Not now, but in 8 minutes than like an hour. But yeah, seriously. So the thing with pinball is the way the international rankings work, there's usually a like 7 to 10 day delay between when tournaments are submitted and when they're verified, because the folks who run the International Flipper Pinball Association actually like to they need to cross-reference everybody's names with actual player IDs, and they want to make sure that everybody who's signed up for the tournament is real, that nobody's like faking names and stuff. There's a lot of diligence that goes into it, and I appreciate it because there's kind of 3 things that go into how many points a tournament is worth for the players, how many players there are, how well those players are ranked, and how many games are played. And so there have been some incidents where tournament directors were making up fake names for players who weren't actually there or whatever. And, yeah, like, I am really appreciative of the folks at the IFPA putting the diligence they do into everything. So, because I don't want to deal with that sort of nonsense. I don't want to go to a tournament where I don't know if I'm playing against. It's like, wait, are there just random names on here? No, I'm there for people. And, so it looks like a few people need to go do laundry. Don't forget to finish your laundry, y'all. Yeah, move it to the dryer. Get it going. Woo. Intelligent Fool says, this is making me want to do Magic the Gathering tournaments more often. Yeah, getting out and doing stuff like this in person is so great. It's so great. Well, and the other thing, too, is, like, so, you know, during the pandemic, the only place I really hung out was on the internet, right? When everything was locked down. This is where I hung out. And I would come in here and I would do a show and I would hang out on my Patreon, and I was the guy who did the show and ran the Patreon, and that was like a lot of stress always being like the guy, right? So when with these tournaments though, like I can just show up and hang out with people, and like yeah, there's a few people that like recognize my name because they like have heard of HermitCraft, but most of the people there, like, keep in mind, Minecraft and HermitCraft, this is very important to a lot of y'all, but like outside of certain like niches, this is completely, nobody has any idea what it is, right? So it's funny because one of my local pinball arcades started streaming their tournaments, and the host had me in the booth talking, and he's like, I've got Joe here with me. Joe, Joe, what's your last name, Joe? I'm like, no, I'll wait. And he's like, okay. It's not Joe Farnsworth. It's not Joe Toombs. You're the other Joe. And I'm like, you know what? This is the absolute best. Sometimes you want to go where nobody knows your name, and I'm here right now, and I'm living my best life. Like, thank you. It's just delightful. This is what I need. Thank you for the kind words, Fun. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm gonna get to bed soon. Wow says, now I've got that song stuck in my head. Sprouts says it's the opposite of Cheers. Yeah, it's Shrek. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay. Whew. Sometimes you wanna go where nobody knows your name. And there's lots of pinball games. Okay. But yeah, finding local activities in your area, even if your area doesn't have pinball, finding something to do outside of the home has, like, this has been one of the single biggest helps for like my, like, are those weird chunk lines? What's that over there? Yeah. Like, I could definitely tell that I was feeling really isolated during the pandemic, and getting out and having something like this to look forward to, like having, you know, there's a few monthly tournaments there's a few big tournaments, like either once a month or once a quarter or once a year, and then having some smaller weekly events to go to and look forward to on the weeks I can make it. It really has just done wonders for my kind of mental stability, just everything. It really was great for me. So yeah, if you can find ways to get out there, humans are social. Even if you're not the sort of person who's like super extroverted, just finding excuses to go out and be around people, saying, I'm going to go to the library and sit and read quietly. I'm going to go to the park and sit and read quietly, you know? You don't have to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to join a disc golf league. Some people, that's perfect. Some people joining a running club, that's great. It's not for everybody, you know? Fun says, what's my favorite activity outside of everything? And Numpy says, apparently laundry. Yeah, I do. I do a lot of laundry as a single parent. Catitude says, do you often struggle to go places where people don't know your name? Only during the pandemic. That's what I'm saying, is it was weird during the pandemic. Gibranisa says, I go to D&D nights at bars around town. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we don't really have that at our local pub scene. Bill from Memphis says, is there an active board game club in Nashville? Great question. So Rick Kuehler, who runs Tennessee Game Days, along with a couple other folks, runs a board game cafe in East Nashville called Game Point. and they have a pretty active schedule. He also hosts 2 nonprofit board game conventions a year. It's called Tennessee Game Days. I go to those whenever I can. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the October one because it might be when I'm out of the country. I've got some Canada travel planned loosely at this point. Then also the Meeple Mountain guys do a once a year Tennessee board gaming event for like International Board Game Day. Meeple Mountain is Andy Matthews' project. He was, I don't know if he still works at Eventbrite. When I met him, he was working at Eventbrite. But just as a side thing, he's running this Meeple Mountain board game review site and organizing local board game stuff. But yeah, there's, and he was also, Meeple Mountain was also running before the pandemic, they were running a monthly thing at the Nashville Software School, where it was like an open board game night. And it was like, originally as like a mixer for like people in the software development community to meet potential hires. But before long, it was just like, it's just board game night. Bring your kids, whatever. But I don't know if they're doing that again. But yeah, so I used to take my kid to that all the time before COVID hit. Because it was just good to get out of the house and, you know. A lot of times they would like be like, hey, the people who developed this board game bought everybody pizza, so everybody help yourself to 2 or 3 slices of pizza. Catitude says, as someone who knows hardly anything about pinball, do you have a favorite game or machine? I mean, there are some games that are... Okay, so every pinball game has kind of a natural different flow or feel to it, and every player has a different natural style. Like, there was a game I had never played before in the tournament on Saturday called Flash. Not Flash Gordon. I played Flash Gordon plenty of times, but just Flash. And I got first on it twice. And I was up against pretty decent players both times. But just, even having never played that machine before, just the natural flow and feel of the machine just synced up with my play style. And so the thing is, though, I could play that same machine at a different tournament, and if it was set up slightly differently, it might completely clash with my play style. Like, there are definitely some games that have more depth to them or have themes that I might enjoy more. I gotta say, that Bond 60th limited edition, the Keith Elwin Bond, it plays so nicely. I will never be able to afford one, so I'm really glad that Jason got one for Game Galaxy that we can play. But, like, you know, James Bond isn't my favorite movie or whatever. It's just like, oh, that game flips well. Godzilla flips really well. I'm not a huge Godzilla fan. I've seen the movies. I like them. But, like, I wouldn't be like, oh, man, I gotta get a Godzilla because of the theme. But occasionally, though, there are games where it's like, you really like the theme and the way it flips. But that's, the thing is, it's all up to you, right? Like, it's not like I could come in here and tell you, like, oh, this is the best pinball machine ever, right? Go to an arcade, play 40 of them. Figure that out. Edge of the World says that was Rush for my dad. Yeah, that was Rush for a lot of people's dads. Neil's dad, Tom Graff, really likes Rush. But, like, you know, there's some games where it's just like, you just play it and you're like, yeah, this is pretty great. I really like Fathom as well. Like, I really like TNA. But, like, the thing is, I like the TNA that I was renting. Every TNA I've played on location felt like it wasn't as well maintained or set up. Which is frustrating, because it's like, did I really like TNA, or did I just like my TNA? Which is total nuclear annihilation, once again. This is a long 8 minutes. Oh, you're right. I was supposed to end the stream 4 minutes ago. Sorry, I got excited talking about board games and pinball. I'm having a good time. This stream started off kind of slow because I had just gotten done eating, and when I just get done eating, my digestion really slows me down. But yeah, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I do need to go clean up my apartment and get ready for bed. Got to get my kid to school in the morning. We got 1 more month of school here in Tennessee. Oh my gosh. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. I believe in me. And yeah, I'm sure my kid will be fine too. I mean, she goes to school for a living. She'll be okay. Let me go ahead and find... Yeah, there's going to be a coffee stream tomorrow night. Or, sorry, tomorrow morning. Coffee stream tomorrow morning for sure. At 8:30 a.m. Is this stream... Let's see. Is this person AFK? Seems to be AFK. Okay, so let's see who else is live. Hey, Frosty Plum is playing more Breath of the Wild. I've been watching a lot of Frosty Plum streams. Frosty Plum actually made my Frosty Plum is the artist who made my Groundhog Day cross stitch, which says, "In this house we follow Groundhog Day rules." And she is now starting to stream Breath of the Wild. I really want to stream the Breath of the Wild sequel. So I'm kind of watching a lot of Frosty Plum streams while I'm cleaning up for the night so I can kind of get in that Zelda mind space. So let's go ahead and raid Frosty Plum. I've known Frosty Plum, a.k.a. Shannon, probably since, like, definitely longer than I've been streaming. Wow, so... Well, or longer than I've been doing Minecraft. I don't know. A long time. Like, 12 to 15 years somewhere. So, we're going to raid Frosty Plum. When you get over there, our raid message is, "Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills raid here." And until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring. Do-do-do-do.